down from? A little downpour. I love it.
When is the best time to come to Hawaii? Because there is a best time. And when is the worst?
Exactly. I'm going over the 3 C's: cost, clouds, and crowds to figure out the best time to come to Hawaii.
He came up with that, by the way.
No big deal.
I am Erica.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're from the Hawaii Vacation Guide. And this is the best time to visit Hawaii. Before we get into this, I just want to say the worst time to visit Hawaii, aside from the other worst time that we're going to tell you about, but the worst time to come to Hawaii is right now when there is still a mandatory 14-day quarantine for all travelers. It is no joke. It is very strict, and you don't want to come here in quarantine, so just...
I did the quarantine. It's not fun.
No, it's terrible. So
we're talking about 2021 for coming here. So what's the best month to come in 2021? And it is...
October.
October is the best time. We love October. It's not just our own opinion. We ran the numbers on the clouds, the costs, and the crowds to figure out the best time to come. And that's why we love October for it. So for this, we looked at the data from NOAA and weather.com, and we also looked at Hawai'i Tourism Authority. We love the data. They have so much research data. And we're looking at 2019 because that's the best representative sample for like the trends that are going on. So of course, 2019 crowds are expected in 2021, but the same patterns are going to happen for it. So number one is clouds. Weather is probably the most important thing, right? So why we love October is that it starts to cool off. The temperatures start to dip. They start coming off those summer highs, and even September. It's September right now, and it is hot right now. It's hot. So October starts to cool off, but you don't have the rain yet, which is really nice.
And let me put this in perspective, because you might be saying, oh, I want a hot vacation. And you may, but it is still very warm in October.
Oh yeah,
right?
It's great. It's Hawaii. It's great. Even December, it's warm.
It is beach weather.
Yeah, but it's no longer like in the high 90s with high humidity. It starts to cool off, which is really nice. Before we get into the data, all these numbers are from the leeward side of the islands, right? So these are the resort sides because the leeward side is the dry side of the island. So for example, on the Big Island, you have Kailua Kona in the Kahala coast. On Maui, you have Wailea and Kaanapali. On Oahu, you have Waikiki for the most part, and then Ko'olina, very dry in Ko'olina. And then Kauai, you have the South Shore, like Poipu. So those are the leeward sides of the island. All right, so let's look at the numbers real quick. The average highs in October is 87 degrees in Maui and Oahu, 83 degrees in Kauai, and 78 in Kailua Kona. So still great temperatures. Rainfall. Rainfall does start to climb coming out of September, but you're still looking really low. On Kauai, it's 4 inches. On Oahu, it's about 2.2 inches. Then on Maui and the Big Island, it's about 1.5 inches. So not a lot. And that's the thing with rainfall too. We're not talking like a lot of storms. Those are the low numbers, but you're talking about nice tropical storms, usually like a cloudburst in the morning and that's it. It's really rare in October to have like all week of rain. You won't see that.
Yeah.
Maybe more December, February, but October you're okay.
Usually. I mean, there's always random years, but for the most part.
It always happens. All right, so number 2, my favorite is crowds, and that's where October really sells. October is one of the least popular months to visit. Least the number of tourists that come is October. Especially as a resident, we like October because it's quiet. So compared to July, the peak of summer, like in 2019, July hit 1 million people for the first time. 1 million in 2019. So a lot lower in October. And what does that mean? It means that you have more parking spots for snorkeling. Like you don't have to get there as early. More things are open for it. Also, you can book that luau a little easier without like booking weeks in advance.
Yeah, you maybe don't need reservations every time you go out to dinner. Also, the beaches are just a little less crowded, right? There's a little less traffic. Things are a little
It's nicer, it's easier, like a little less planning because not everything's so booked up. You're not worried about it for it.
Wait, Goofy! Oh, bring it in, buddy, bring it in!
Number 3 is cost. That's probably what a lot of people care about. And October does better because there's less crowds. You get more competitive rates, right? So rental cars are lower because there's less demand, so they start decreasing the cost for rental cars. And then 2 is lodging. That's a big sale. That's probably your biggest expense when you come to Hawaii is lodging.
Absolutely. This is where you're going to save so much money. Oh my goodness, so much money. So lodging in October. If you are getting a hotel, it is the second cheapest month to get a hotel. If you're going for a vacation rental, it is the cheapest month to get a vacation rental. So October, you're gonna find some really good deals.
It's really nice, especially when you compare that to like December when prices double, like in Wailea and Maui, price will double during Christmas period.
Yeah.
So a lot better in October. Okay, so worst time to visit. Now that we know the best time, what's the worst month to visit?
The second half of December.
There you go.
It is. It's tough. And we just think it's tough because your dollar doesn't go as far, right? So everything that is cheaper in October is double or triple the price in December. It is crazy. It gets so expensive.
And it's just because so many people come in December, right? It's a Christmas holiday. It's a great time to come.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. But that's one thing too. Rainfall. It's the wettest month also.
Yeah.
So crowds are high in December because of the holidays. And then also for clouds, you get a lot of clouds because it's the wettest month by far.
That said, we know it is so popular because so many people like have kids in school, or maybe that's the only time they can get off work. And so that said, like coming in December over Christmas is still not a bad option, right? You still get to come to Hawaii.
So
it is still wonderful. It is just our least favorite time because of the clouds, crowds, and costs.
Exactly.
Like, it just makes it challenging.
I mean, in Christmas in Hawaii is so much fun, right? They really dial up the aloha. There's lots of Christmas events. There's lots of singing. It's a lot of fun during the Christmas period. But
I just think it's the worst time.
Let's figure it out. So other things to consider when you're booking your trip to Hawaii for picking a month. So a lot of people can't come in October because school's in session. So if you need the kids out of school, we love June. It's during the summer break period. It's busier, but June's the least busy month out of June, July, and August. It's also one of the cooler months out of June, July, August. And then still, prices haven't started to jump up to those peak summer highs either. So June's a good time to come if you have to worry about the kids being in school.
So pick them up from their last day of school and head to the airport, and everything will just be just fine.
So other things to consider when you're looking at times to come is the shoulder periods, the kind of the slower periods on Hawaii. And that is the fall and the spring. So you're talking September, October, November before Thanksgiving. And then also in the springtime, talking like late March, April, and May.
Yeah.
So those are the shoulder periods, we consider them. Other things to consider when booking, try to stay away from long weekends if you can. Obviously, like spring break, President's Weekend, you see big spikes in lodging during those time periods. Other things to consider is Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving on the islands. It's nice, the prices are good, the weather's perfect. It's nice. If you can't do Christmas, Thanksgiving is another great holiday to come to Hawaii.
Yeah, I would say that might be like the best holiday.
I do love it. Yeah, my family came last time. We just had a great time. Now that you know the best time to visit Hawaii, subscribe, because next we're going to talk about the cheapest island to visit.
Yeah, you won't want to miss that. And also, if you are planning a trip to Hawaii, head to our website and you can get all of the free itineraries that we have for you to make your planning easier. So head to the hawaiivacationguide.com/itinerary, and there's a whole bunch of free itineraries for you. All right, so thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Is it raining? Is it raining?
You're getting rain in your shave ice.
Trying to touch the rain with his tongue.